Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Ben at That Cologne Guy coming at you with another review. Today's Tuesday, and that means it's the second day of my first impressions week. As you might know, this whole week I'm reviewing colognes from that a friend of mine sent, and he sent a whole bag of decants, and the review today is Rouge by Guerlain. I know some of you will just say Habit Rouge by Guerlain, or I think the closest that I can get to the French is Habit Rouge by Guerlain. So just for the sake of this review, I'll say Habit Rouge, just so that I'm consistent, but you will hear both. This, of course, is the 1965 classic by Guerlain, and they revisited it recently. It's a reformulation, but it's not too much different than the original, I think. But you can tell me if I'm incorrect. So, now, in terms of bottle and sprayer, you know that this whole week, because it's first impressions and this is a decant, I won't be talking too much about either of the two for obvious reasons. And so I'm going to move on to notes. When I went and looked on Fragrantic, I was a little surprised because the top notes are citrus, and then the middle notes include vanilla and rose. And I was surprised because when I get out of this initially, I wore this the last couple sprays this morning, and what I get out of this clearly for me is a lot of rose, a lot of vanilla. In fact, I would say vanilla the most, then rose, and then citrus. So what's interesting is the mid notes seem to dominate in this fragrance, at least for me. And here's what I would say about this classic. I want you to, if you like music or movies, either one, I want you to think of a certain, let's say music. So I want you to think of a certain band that is kind of a founding father, an originator, etc., of a genre that you like. So whatever genre of music you like, think of a band that kind of started it. They were the trailblazers in the forefront, the avant-garde, etc. And think of a band that you may not really like that much, but you appreciate what they did for the genre, and you appreciate how they moved forward that type of music. And you might not buy all of their music, but you appreciate them. You might even go see them live, what have you. But you don't have their collection. And for me, Habit Rouge is that. I want to pay homage to a classic. It's clearly a classic. There's no doubt that it's exceptionally well blended. But for me, it's just a little, you want to say old manish or grandfather, grandmother. It's a little too mature for me. I personally don't think I would buy this, although I do like it. I like the smell a lot. And it's going to get very high numbers in terms of my ratings because it's exceptionally well blended. That said, I don't think I would have it in my collection, which I know is sacrilegious to a lot of you. I give it props, and it deserves that, but I don't know that I would buy a bottle. So in terms of versatility, I would have to go 6. I would have to go 6 because it is quite mature. And I do think it is for an office setting. So I do see this as a fragrance that would be for an older gentleman in more of a formal office type setting. I don't really see this as, I certainly don't see it as a clubbing scent, but I don't see it as maybe a romantic scent. I mean, it smells very nice, but I see this more as an office scent, and I see it for a more mature audience. So for versatility, definite 6. In terms of seasons, though, by the way, I'd have to say any of the seasons is fine, although probably more fall, winter, but spring would work, summer as well. I mean, I don't really see this as a certain season necessarily. I see it more as an age category and a particular setting. Okay, so longevity. I did get great longevity though. In terms of longevity, it does last. I would say 8 to 10. And this was the, if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure this is the EDT version. So for an EDT, that is great. 8 to 10, a solid 8 to 10 on this. I'd be careful with overspraying, which I almost never say, because usually fragrance doesn't last too long on my skin. So this fragrance I was happily surprised in terms of its longevity. And for projection, I would also give it a 9. The scent cloud was good. It was arm's length. It was what I wanted. I will say I didn't care for this. So kind of a running joke that I have is a lot of times the ones I'm a little bit lukewarm on are the ones that I get compliments on, unsolicited compliments anyway. And I did get compliments on this one. So I do appreciate that, and they clearly picked up the scent from about an arm's length away. So yeah, I would say maybe 1 to 2 feet. The scent cloud was great. So projection is a 9, and it wasn't anything too much, but it certainly wasn't close to the skin. Great job. This. In the last video, I talked about one word that would capture a fragrance for the Lolita Olympica, and I would say for this, if you wanted one word, well, besides classic, I would use well blended. It is one expression. It is it is exceptionally well blended, and I am not surprised at all that it is a classic. It's a barbershop scent, so you're either going to like that or you're not. If you like the barbershop scent of the 60s, you will like that, in the same vein as kind of Eau Sauvage and things like that. I respect them, I honor them, but this particular one, I'll leave it there. And all right, so in overall terms, I would have to go a 9. This is a classic, no doubt. Just because I don't necessarily care for it doesn't mean that I can't pay homage to it. I'm going to give it a 9. The longevity was great. The projection was great. Versatility, not so much. And the notes that I pick up the most are not so much. I'm not a fan of rose scents, okay, for men's fragrance, with one exception, which is Lyric Man by Amouage. If you don't like rose, normally, you should definitely consider Lyric Man by Amouage, because that is the crown jewel of rose scents for men. This one has a lot of rose, it has a lot of vanilla, and of course a lot of citrus on the top notes. So not my thing, but yeah, a classic. I'm glad I wore it. I enjoyed it for 2 or 3 days, and it was fun. All right, there you have it. Another review by the boards. The second day of my first impressions video. Really enjoying this week. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And appreciate all of your comments and feedback. And always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today.